So the XR250R 1990, and the differences between this motorbike and the 1988 XL250R. There's quite a few differences that you just wouldn't, that they are quite different motorbikes. Let's start with parts of the engine. So down here, the engine would look like, to maybe a quick glance, very much the XR250 engine. Well, there are some differences. First of all, some of them do, I'll grant you, the XRs did come out with twin carbs. This has the twin carbs. Okay, we're missing the original airbox. I've gone into that. The rocker box is a little bit different in that we have a output for the cam, output off the camshaft that drives the rev counter, the tachometer. Look at the difference on the XR engine. We still have the decompression lever on the exhaust valve, which I have the cable disconnected. You don't really need it, it starts pretty easy without that. The ports on this engine are smaller for the exhaust ports. The exhaust ports are smaller on this engine, and the header pipes are smaller on this engine compared to the XR. Crankcase on this side, this cover for the clutch, the actuator for the clutch is on top of the crankcase, and there seems to be some casting here allowed for, and that's where the XR has its actuator. The mounting of the engine is slightly different as well. They're not just swappable without a little bit of work on the engine mounts. I've had a look at that. I've wondered about swapping the engines over, or swapping an XR engine into this bike. Frame is quite different. This frame is lightweight. It's not too bad, it's reasonably heavy duty in parts, but certainly the swing arm is lightweight, and it's just steel, so it's not a Pro Link in any way. It's more as a dual purpose bike, probably more used for road use with maybe weekend trail rides, that type of thing, or riding between your trails, down the highway between trails, that sort of activity. Tank is steel, and the frame is nowhere near as heavy duty in its construction as the XR. There's some differences. Let's look over on this bike now. So here you'll see we have an oil cooler, because this is the wet sump engine still. Oil filters are the same, dipstick is in the same position, kickstart in the same position, but over here we have the clutch mechanism on the side rather than on the top, and of course we have the single carburetor. I haven't tried it, but I think that this manifold may fit onto the twin carb engine, allowing you to convert the twin carb over to a single carb. Looks very similar. It's a 3-bolt manifold. I haven't sort of played around with that too much. The oil feeds for the head down to the crankcase, same with the T connection down here. And the rockers rocker box, fairly similar, except we don't have a output, so it's not focusing very well. There's a sort of an indent, but there's no actual part there for the mechanism to go in to put a mechanical tachometer on it. I'm just running a standard hour meter, which also gives you a reasonable tachometer as well, gives you sort of a ballpark figure. Swing arm, of course, on this is the Pro Link, really solid, really heavy duty, but compared to the COF it's quite lightweight. But for its day, 1990, it was up there, and it was a bit of a game changer on the track. The exhaust ports on this XR engine are definitely larger. I haven't looked at the valves. Actually, I did have the head off the XL250R. It did seem to have fairly good valves, good sized valves in it. Maybe even bigger than what's in this engine, because the spark plug is a little bit different situation in it. Anyway, this definitely has larger headers. Same configuration, 2-into-1, which I quite like. Of course, this engine is a 4-valve engine, which is why it has this nice arrangement for the exhaust pipe, exhaust headers, and gives it that sort of distinctive look. The frame on the XR is definitely a fairly heavy duty unit. These things are strong. You can really punish this bike and it is unbreakable really. Anyone in the world will tell you that these bikes will take a heck of a punishment. They are seriously solid bikes. I haven't measured the fork size, but yeah, I would say, just looking at it, yeah, this is definitely smaller stanchion diameter on the XL, which you'd expect as well. Travels pretty good on the XL though. And here we have the oil cooler sitting in there. I had a comment from a viewer a while ago about the blue frame on this bike. He thought it looked quite nice. It does give it a nice contrast with the red. Typically these bikes have a white frame. At some stage, before I actually bought the bike, I don't think this came out factory, but it looks a very good paint job anyway. The frame has been completely disassembled, and it may have been sandblasted, and it's been powder coated blue, because wherever I see any rubbing, I can't see any sign of a earlier colour. So I'm thinking it went right back to bare metal if it didn't come out like this. But this is the only blue frame that I've seen on an XR. So typically they are white or red, or white typically. Okay, boxed it all up again. I put the tank on properly, bolted everything in nicely, and put the seat on properly, and had a bit of a ride around. It's all good. And it's all set for when I get the opportunity to take it out on the trails. I haven't got the headlight wired in. There is an output from the alternator that I could use. I was going to do that before I put the tank on him. I forgot about it. I thought I'll stuff it. I'll do it another time maybe. I am due for a new chain and sprockets. So I bought the sprockets, but I ended up using the chain on that bike. It's got the new chain on it, so I've got to buy another chain which I'll put on this bike. So I'll do that before I take it out for a ride. And I think I'll get one more season on these Scorpions, and then they will be replaced. Same tyre, but new tyres. What else? I carry the little tool bag on the back. Being a bit old school, I like to carry a spare plug I carry a little puncher kit, you know, one of those little pandas if I needed it. A few tools, screwdrivers, adjustable spanners, that sort of thing, in case I need to do anything on the trail. But like I was saying earlier, I've really had no trouble from this bike at all, except for falls. That 18 hours would be, I would think, at least not 10 years, but probably 7 or 8 years. So not a lot of use when you think about it. I broke the clutch lever off, so that's the new clutch lever, and I fitted a different kill switch on it. They had the push button ones. I've just put that one on, just a basic eBay one. So yeah, this is my XR. There's lots of videos on my channel of this bike out on the trails, and we've had a lot of fun together on this bike, and I'll continue to do so. So quite different in many respects from the XL. I've actually got the sprocket cover off at the moment because it's fiddling around. Someone's butchered this gear selector, and they've welded the lever onto the spline because it's probably been slipping. And to change all that around, I'll have to grind that weld off and then split the crankcase to actually get the spindle out and put a new selector mechanism in there. I don't know if I'm going to do that in a hurry at this stage. I may do. I have been looking around for some parts, gaskets, etc. I don't know if I really feel like it right now to do that, but that's how I bought the bike. It's not in bad condition. I say it's been on the road all its life. A few owners, maybe 10 owners over that time, and the last owner that I met, just a young guy, early 20s, that's been using the bike to go to work on, and then he blew the head gasket, and he changed the head gasket, which sits just in here. And in doing so, he never got it really back together again and running properly. So I bought it, as I said, not running, but that's okay. I'm pretty happy with how it's going at the moment. I don't know whether he did all the blacking out on it or not. The frame has been painted nicely. It's all been sprayed nicely. Everything's been done nicely in black. It is just a look for it. I don't know. They do look quite nice in the original colours. Red frame and the tank colours, etc. Blue seats, red seats, that sort of thing. I've got the chain guard as well put away. Anyway, this is battery's going flat on my phone, so I'll finish this off. Thanks very much for viewing once again, and I hope everything's going well and you and your families are keeping safe during the lockdown. We've just heard from our Prime Minister that we're hoping to go through to a lower level. They're going to have a cabinet meeting on Monday to decide on that taking place. Thank you for viewing. Bye bye.